Alright, man. Just watch Candyman. They said it. They said Candyman in the mirror 5 times and he appeared. So this gotta work. This gotta work. $1 million, $1 million, $1 million, $1 million, $1 million. Where the money at, man?
What?
They said Candyman 5 times.
What the fuck?
I said, figured I say $1 million 5 times. Then I get $1 million. That shit don't work.
You want it to be one way, but it's the other way.
They know where Carter at. Straight off the launching pad, marching on the moon, motherfucker. I've been to Mars and back. Cleaner than laundromats. Jumping in something from other countries. Companies junkie, you cannot order that. They know where Carter at. Straight off the launch.
In this neighborhood, the legend started. And the legend is, if we say his name 5 times while looking in the mirror, we could summon him.
We back in the Low Key Cave, Keyshawn Nimes YouTube page, aka Mr. Low Key, and we are back with a movie review. Of course, I'm not in my regular setting. Like I said, I'm still not in town right now. I'll be getting back to my regular setting today, but I could not wait. I have to do my Candyman review. Okay, man. First off, I went into this movie pretty excited, being that I was a real big fan of the first Candyman. That's in my top 5 movies of all time, the first Candyman. I think not only is that movie, like I said, I did a review on that movie, the 1992 Candyman, and like I said, me getting older, I got more of an understanding of what that movie was and what it was really about, especially with the whole black people, as far as the low-income neighborhoods and the things they were trying to do to those neighborhoods. The thing that really scared me about the first Candyman was the Candyman, just the Candyman all around together. And like I always said, to me, some of the most scariest parts about that first Candyman is before we even see him and them telling them stories. Okay, now we have our 2021 Candyman. The plot of this is pretty much this guy named Anthony, who's played by, I can't keep pronouncing this man's name, but Yahya Matua II. I'm sorry if I'm saying his name wrong, but he's a very, very phenomenal actor. He's been in a lot of shit. He's Black Manta in Aquaman. He played Mr. Manhattan in the Watchmen series. He's been in a lot of stuff and he's killing it. I'm telling you, you better be looking out for this guy if you're not already looking at him. But it also stars, I can't think of her name. It's a girl. She's been in a couple things. Tiana Ferris, who plays his girlfriend, Brianna. The setting of this movie is about this guy named Anthony, who's a artist, and he's trying to find his next painting. You know what I'm saying? This is he's one of them artists who does paintings that's supposed to go for like $20,000, $30,000. Like they do these big art shows or whatnot. And to be honest, what this movie is primarily set in is the world of art. That would be no problem if we just had more, I ain't gonna say, more interesting characters and just more of a build-up. And pretty much what you have with this movie is the guy named Anthony trying to find his next painting. So when he come across this story of Candyman, that's pretty much what drives him to start doing his new painting and his new work. To be honest, this movie almost doesn't even start off with him focusing so much on Candyman. He's more focused on Helen Lau, and you know who Helen Lau is. She's the white lady from the first movie. And they really, to me, and I honestly like what they was doing. They start going into the story of Helen and what she had going on and about. And the story, as far as the story they got, is that she lost her mind. She kidnapped a baby, this and the third. And pretty much after she was trying to do a journalist story about the Cabrini Green project, she started losing her shit. That's the story they got. But when they're telling this story, we as an audience don't watch the first movie, so we know the real story. This is the thing about this movie. This is my issue with this movie. I like what they're trying to do, especially this director and JORDANPEELE and them writing this story. I like what they was trying to do, because pretty much we have a story where they're trying to turn black people's trauma, primarily black men, and the things they went through, especially with police brutality and just brutality in America, period. They're trying to turn that brutality into a story about certain black people not coming back, but just the trauma we go to. That's supposed to be Candyman. The trauma we go to as black people, as far as the things we were the things we have been through in America, dealing with police brutality, like I said, just dealing with all these obstacles, these riots, racism, period, everything. And this movie really focuses on gentrification, neighborhoods, low income neighborhoods, getting people pushed out that's already stayed in neighborhoods, bringing in these new buildings, building up, and bringing in white people. That's what this movie pretty much pushes the narrative of. I'm going to say this right now. I went to the movies to see this, and I kid you not, 2 white people beside me got up and left in the middle of the movie. I'm just telling you what this movie is doing. This movie pretty much takes, to me, and when I left the movie, I had to think about it. I'm like, did black people die in this movie? I'm being honest, man. This is my honest review and opinion. And this movie is pretty much making white people seem like damn, I don't like white people. I'm being honest, man. It's not a white person in this movie that you enjoy or that you like. And the white people that are in this movie, they are there to be killed or to be assholes or people that just snobs and people you just don't want to hear them talk at all. And I don't know if this because they are basing a lot of this in the art world, but this movie pretty much says, fuck you white people. Fuck what y'all tried to do to us. Fuck y'all. Like, I'm telling you, this is, when I tell you 2 white people that I was sitting beside in the movie theater got up and walked out, I'm not saying it was that bad. I'm just thinking they got a little sensitive because of the commentary, but every other minute in the movie you would hear white people coming in and knocking down our buildings, destroying our neighborhoods, this and that. That's what they was doing in the movie, man. But one thing I want to say is, I still somewhat have a problem with it. It's the execution of it. It, to me, was not, in my opinion, it was not executed right. The first Candyman, when you're telling these stories about the legend of him, you're telling these stories of the things that happened to him. Not only that, do y'all remember in that first Candyman 1992 when the little boy is telling Helen a story about the boy that was in the bathroom and he got his stuff cut off in the toilet, and he talking about the man, the big strong man ran in there, he come out shaking and shit. That when he telling that story and you listening to him and you can hear the little boy snobbing, crying in the background.
She hears a boy screaming. There's a big tough guy. He runs over to check it out. Come out of there shaking and crying. He's only been in there 5 seconds.
You're getting these flashbacks and you see it for yourself. That shit was terrifying. It's horrible. It's horrifying. I don't have an issue with what they was trying to do with this, but the things with the puppets and whatnot, we're getting we're just being re-examined on something we already done seen. In that first Candyman, we ain't no shit. I'm telling you, if it wasn't for the trailers of that first Candyman, it was a mystery. Because say for instance, they didn't show no trailers for the first Candyman. If you went in that cold, you were sitting there that whole time like, is the Candyman real or somebody using that story to run this neighborhood? Because that's how the movie goes. If you don't watch no trailers for that first Candyman, you are not sure if this is real or not. So going into this, and when you're hearing people tell these stories about him, the puppet thing is strange.
For me, Candyman was a guy named Sherman Fields. He had a hook for a hand.
And it is, I heard some people saying this a little creepy here and there, but for me, it was not. It was nowhere near as effective as that first Candyman when they telling these stories about him, and you were seeing like I did my review on the first Candyman, and I saw the scene where they are showing Helen's eyes and they dim the lights, but they got it a little bright on her eyes, and you hear this man telling this story about Candyman and what happened to him when they sawed off his hand and whatnot. They do some similar things in this 2021 Candyman, but it does not have the same effect the first Candyman have, and y'all not gonna tell me it did. As far as the social injustice and everything, that's what this movie is primarily about. And the ending, I don't give a fuck when nobody say I don't care. I did not like this ending. I feel like this ending was put in your face like, here, look at this, look at this. The ending, the first Candyman was not only telling a story about gentrification in neighborhoods, and not only that, about how this person was coming around trying to, I ain't gonna say use people, but she was not focused on what the things that were going through in the neighborhood. She was just trying to get a story, and that shit flipped around to her. With this one, it's like you have this Candyman, and this is my problem. This is my problem. This is my main problem with the movie. Besides, I don't mind them trying to tell this story about injustice or trying to make this the horror movie that we get for black people. Not only for black people, for all around people, but it's the execution of it. In that first Candyman, when Candyman finally does appear, which he doesn't appear for half of the movie, he talking. The shit, the way he kills, like, it's brutal and it's scary. In this one, I'm gonna be honest, you got this Candyman that's running around just briskly breathing real hard. He don't say shit. In that first Candyman, the nigga was smooth talking, not smooth talking, but the way he talked, deep voice, be my victim. He was telling her, the way Candyman was talking in that first one, I am the person they talk about on the street corners. I am going to live on forever. Like, this, the way he talked, it was scary. In this Candyman 2021, the nigga standing there breathing hard. And this whole other dude, the new Candyman they supposedly have, like I said, the whole thing, and this is in clips, this is online and stuff, this is not spoilers. The whole thing with this Candyman is they're trying to say this is the Candyman is not a man or woman or whatnot, it's the whole hive, like you say in the movie. Candyman is the traumas we go through and the things we are still going through to this day. Like the character, what's his name? It's my man off Fear the Walking Dead. He a really good actor too. Even though I hate what just the ending, man. The ending. Coleman Domingo, who plays William, this guy that's was been in the neighborhood for a long time. And it is a twist in this movie. It is a twist. I don't know if people are going to guess it head on or not, but it is a little twist in this movie that has something to do with the first one. I guessed it. And I don't think it was a bad twist. Once again, it's the execution. It is the execution. And for me, this movie, what it really lacks on is being scary. That's the most thing to me. It lacks on being scary. That first Candyman, I gotta keep comparing it because this is a sequel to the first Candyman. The way he went around doing things. Another thing with this movie, it has brutal kills in it. It was a brutal movie. It was not that same brutality in that first movie. With this one, it's like the kills are gimmicky kind of way. It's like he coming in real fast, slicing people and doing what he doing, but it's not like that first one where it was almost like practical. Well, this one is kind of practical effects, but in that first one, you see how gruesome it was. Like I said, the doctor, when Helen is sitting in there talking to her therapist, you see him come in behind the therapist and just, goddamn, they don't cut away from that. They showing how brutal it is where he's coming up from the behind him with the hook, goddamn carving him, and they showing you all of that. In this one, it's like quick cut kills, boom, 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 we out of here. Ain't nothing lasting. You're not sitting with it like you was in that first one. I'm not saying I'm here to watch a bunch of people get killed. I want a good story too. But the thing about the first Candyman was not just that it was a good horror movie, it was a brutal horror movie. In this one, you have kills that happen. Think about that first Candyman. Helen's friend was there for a minute. When she got killed, I ain't gonna say you were sitting there like, oh man, not a friend, but it was an effect. When people are getting killed in this, especially the people that they are killing, it's like, okay, let's get them up out of here. Let's get them up out of here. Let's get them up out of here. It's not a build up like that first Candyman. The first Candyman, and I'm gonna keep going back to the first Candyman, you don't even get people getting killed like the first half of the movie. You are just getting these stories. You're getting these images. You're hearing about him. And when he finally does show up and start killing people, he is killing people. Like, it's real, like he is goddamn going in. In this one, it's more kills in this one. Like, it's more kills in this one, but they not as effective as that first Candyman. it's just not as effective as that first Candyman. And like I said, I like what the direction they was going with this one. I really like the direction they was going with this one. And shout out to the director, NIADACOSTA. She has a bright future, and she is doing the new Captain Marvel movie, which I am excited to see. But it was just the execution with this. That's all. And they really, another thing they did with this movie, they really made an essence to not like white people. I'm being honest. This shit was like, no, we don't like white people. One thing I want to say though is, I think in a way they was trying to flip that narrative of how we were pictured in horror movies. Black people. In black people in horror movies, you was the first nigga to die, or you was the buffoon, or you was the comedy relief. You know, I think in recent horror movies, they've done better with us. I'm a fan of Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. Think about that when you had Vig Rhames, a surviving character who was a cop. He wasn't no drug dealer. He wasn't none of the this and the third. He was a good, wholesome civilian. But I see what they tried to do with Mekhi Phifer in that movie. But overall, I feel like they have tried to do a little bit better with us in horror movies. But now that we not only have a voice in horror movies, we have a huge director in horror movies, Jordan Peele, who I think got this movie pushed along to even make it happen. And now you got this director, NIADACOSTA, who started off doing horror movie. So I am a fan of what they're trying to do. I just want some horror. Can we get some horror? If you're not going to tell me this movie is scary, I don't care what y'all say. Maybe I watch too many horror movies, but in my opinion, this movie is not scary. I still can go back and watch that 1992 Candyman, and I have moments where I'm sitting there like, man, this shit, like, bruh, I don't need that in my life. With this Candyman, though, my problem was that we needed Tony Todd, man. I'm telling you. Tony Todd has a presence, and it was missing in this movie. It was missing. Say what you want to say about those sequels, but I will watch those old Candyman sequels for Tony Todd's presence alone. He brings so much to this character of Candyman, man. He really does. Shout out Tony Todd, man. And I'm not spoiling anything. You can't have Candyman without a Tony Todd. I'm not saying he in the movie like, oh shit, but we get something special. We do. And I actually kind of liked it. I did. It went like, oh my God, but I kind of liked it. And the ending of this movie, man, is no build up. And even with the Candyman, what they trying to do with him, it's like, what? He technically didn't go, I don't know, man. Overall, I didn't enjoy the movie like that. I didn't. I will go back and watch it though to see what maybe I can get a little bit more out of it. Maybe I can get something else out of it. Shout out to my boy Chuck. That's how I was looking when I was watching this. Like, what is this? But I did enjoy moments in it, and I like I like the opening. The opening credits, I enjoyed that too. It took me back to 1992, but it felt updated, and it felt creepy. I like that opening scene. It did feel creepy. And there's moments in here where it does kind of give you some creepiness, but it doesn't give you that horror feeling that I got from that first Candyman. And biggest problem with me was the Candyman they had in this movie. And I'm just like, man, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it at all. This Candyman didn't have no personality. No personality. And that's the thing about the 1992 Candyman. The nigga had personality. He had tenders. He was talking about some shit. And it made the movie scary. It did. This one is not scary. It's not. And overall, I just feel like people are going to be a little disappointed if you are a huge fan of that first Candyman. That's my opinion. If you're going in this with fresh eyes and not really focusing on the first Candyman, and which I was not focused on that first Candyman. I was just wanting them to give me, I wanted them to give me something new, but give me that feeling of watching that first Candyman when I did watch it for the first time. You understand what I'm saying? I'm sitting there in shock, like, oh my God, they really going there with this one. I did not expect this or that. To be honest, the first Candyman, I don't think, like, you got to think about it. At that age, was you really looking for trailers like that? I wouldn't. I ain't know shit about trailers like that. So I think that's why I love that first Candyman so much, is because it was really kind of a mystery to me, because I didn't, watching it, you like, damn, is Candyman real? Or is this just some bullshit going around? And then when it finally shows up, it's like, oh shit. Oh man. Shout out to Jordan Peele, NIADACOSTA. Jordan Peele, man, I'm really interested to see what he's going to do with this new movie. This ended, I don't care what nobody say, this ended had Jordan Peele name all over it. Damn, it had Jordan Peele name all over it. But I'm not sure if maybe NIADACOSTA wanted to go this direction. She could have pretty much had her input on this, and I wouldn't doubt that at all. I'm just saying, man, if we're going to do these woke, conscious horror movies, can they be scary? Can they be scary? That's all I'm asking. I want a good scary movie. I'm a fan of horror movies in general. That's why maybe I'm looking at this the type of way I am. I am a horror movie fan. I never really looked at things like that as far as the whole, how, I did look at, don't get it twisted, man. Some of my favorite horror movies is because black people survive. Demon Knight. Demon Knight is a good horror movie, period, though, with Jada Pinkett. If you haven't seen it, Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. I'm talking about these movies where you have black people that survive. And if you haven't, check out my top 5 black people to survive horror movies. I got 2 parts to that on my YouTube page. That's one of the main reasons I really enjoyed this movie, and I had to do a review on it, though. And like I said, man, you go into this with fresh eyes, not even worrying about the first 1992 Candyman, you might enjoy this a lot more. For me, like I said, that's my top 5 movie of all time. That's in my top 5, that first Candyman. So I went into this with those eyes, because like I said, they was saying this is a spiritual sequel. This is a sequel. This ain't no spiritual. This is a sequel. You go straight into this, they talking about Helen Loud before they even mention Tony Todd. Like, I'm gonna tell you, that's the whole thing about this Candyman. Tony Todd's Candyman is not mentioned in this movie until like almost the end. They talking about this Candyman they talking about in this movie like is a whole nother Candyman besides the one we know, the one we love. Cause this new nigga, like I said, he on some Jason shit, just breathing and shit. I'm telling you, I don't care. I ain't spoiling, I feel like, but the nigga is just breathing. And when, like I said, we do get some special from Tony Todd. I'm not gonna spoil. That ain't spoilers. If you think they were gonna have some kind of Tony Todd appearance in here, you tripping. This is Candyman. Tony Todd is Candyman. The nigga still do these conventions. You know, where they do these little things, rom-coms or whatnot. He does these things still for Candyman. So if they were to get a sequel to this, I want some Tony Todd in it. I need them to figure out some way. But the most important is, besides Tony Todd, we need something scary. Make a scary movie, man. I get what y'all doing. Y'all can do the good story. Y'all could have executed this way better, but give me horror. I want to be scared. I'm just saying. But overall, I didn't enjoy the movie. I did not. So I will go back and watch it though, maybe twice, just to see if I can get some more out of it. But I feel like I'm not. I'm just being honest, man. But that was pretty much my review of 2021's Candyman. Y'all let me know in the comment section if you have seen it. How do y'all feel about this new Candyman? Have y'all watched the original Candyman? Are y'all a fan of the original Candyman? Do y'all feel like this one was as good as that original Candyman? Let me know in the comment section, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. This is the road to 300 subs. Shout out to all my subscribers. Shout out to everybody checking out my videos, man. Hit that notification bell to let you know when I upload new videos, man. Yeah.
Black people don't need to be summoning.
Don't.
How dare you?
Don't say that.
Say his name.
Candyman.
You better not do that.